Hey, so I am gonna do the first video of a series that I'm gonna call Studying Comics, where I'm going to basically try to learn from the pros or show you specific details of some of the biggest and most powerful comic books and graphic novels from some of the most profound authors and pinpoint things that I find uh, that you can take note of in your own writing and creating of your own books. And I'm going to start with The Me You Love in the Dark by Scottie Young and illustrated by George Corona. The reason I'm starting with this book is not because it's like that great, It's not a super amazing book. It's really good and it has aspects that I think can easily be learned from and not necessarily copied, but uh, specific things that I want to go over that you can use in your own creating, okay? And but it's more of a personal reason of why I choose this one because The Me You Love in the Dark gets compared to my first comic series, It Eats What Feeds It. They both have similar titles. They both are gothic horror. They both deal with taboo romance in a haunted mansion. They both have long sentence like titles, like I was saying. And they both came out around the same time. So my book launched in 2020, and the trade paperback came out in 2021. And The Me You Love in the Dark also came out in 2021. So, of course, it's in my wheelhouse as far as genre. And it's written by one of the most profound rising modern writers, Scottie Young. And, so since it comes up as like a comparable to my book, when you buy It Eats What Feeds It, The Me You Love in the Dark gets recommended to those who liked it, and vice versa. Those who read Scottie Young's book, also my book is recommended to those readers. And I think that is actually why I ended up having like growing an audience based is because of the success of both books. So, kind of the first lesson is that what might seem like your competitor, like especially if it's coming from a high level creator, that can actually work in your favor because whenever a big creator releases something and especially in kind of a trending genre or something like that, or even a less known genre, it sort of brings that the genre into light and can give more exposure to you because you are associated indirectly with their book, which is kind of what happened to me. Um, but that aside, I'm just going to go over what I think are sort of the key lessons you can learn from this book and how he wrote it. The first one is the catchy title. And of course I'm going to talk about this because it follows sort of the same techniques that I used in writing my own title. It's poetic. It ties directly into the story. It's unique. It sounds phonetically nice. It has a ring to it. It sort of rounds out. And you're seeing that a lot more nowadays, and I think it can get overdone, and you can make them too long. But I think this one was done really well. The second thing I want to go over is the first page. I think the first page is done smart. Young starts with the two characters looking at a house, or just two characters looking at a house. It's the realtor and our main character. And just on this very first opening page with just two bubbles of dialogue, you learn all the exposition that's needed, that you're at a haunted house and that our main character is moving in. And we get a nice page flip that reveals the house. It's pro. And I can see a lot of different ways that other people might do this without as hard of an impact. They could have done a narration bubble with a full page of the house, or they could have had a character on the phone, or like I would have done, I probably would have skipped it entirely and just let the audience figure out what was happening and just start right in the middle of a scene with her in the house talking, or something like that. But with just two panels, he's able to build suspense and give the entire setup immediately, and it's always well done. I like judging the first panels and first pages of uh, um, comic books. The other thing I want to go over is just the logistics of this story is simple, and I don't often see this. You'll see it sometimes, but this one was very contained. There's only like three characters. There's four characters I think throughout the entire thing, and one of them is only on the opening page, the realtor, and the rest of it is just three characters, all taking place within one house, um, and that's all you need. It's rare that you can tell a whole kind of short romance story. I think the whole thing is only 5 issues. It's like 100 something pages. Uh, but just keeping it contained, I think, is a smart way to do it, and the logistics simple, which leads into kind of the next part where it's what I call a surface level story. All right, so you don't always need a big, long, unwinding mystery to keep an audience entertained and even like on the edge of their seat, kind of wondering what's going to happen next. And we don't need a long backstory to learn about a character to really get what we're to make it enjoyable. And that's what this book is. Like there's not this big long haunted house mystery. It's not your typical like the Grudge style thing where someone goes into a house and they're starting to learn these mysteries of that's revealing who the ghost is and who they may have killed or who may have killed them or any of that. Like all that is like left out. It's just how is this person dealing with this entity in this house that is somewhat helping them be more artistic and also sort of falling in love. It's you could almost compare it to like just falling in love with AI. Like it's not until later to where it like actually starts to affect their life, and you don't go deep into either character. You don't go deep into who the main character is or who the entity is. You're just getting the like if you show up and you're in the situation that she's in or it's in, what do you do next? And then how can it sort of unravel? And there's tropes, and it has like, and I get accused of these things where like, it's a very just rounded out, simple story. There's nothing wild to it. You can sort of see it coming or expect like there's only a certain amount of outcomes that can happen here, and it's not necessarily super unique. It doesn't dive super deep, but it just does everything right. It's like it has like the catch of the simpleness of a gothic romance, like those are always attractive. A haunted house and the evil might be something you're attracted to. It's got amazing artwork. Like just looking at the artwork alone is will draw you in. It's like it's got the hook, it's got the title, it's got the artwork, and then it rounds out to where it doesn't make you feel like it's not finished. It doesn't make you feel like it keeps you wondering what's going to happen next. And it's just like I said, it's just a simple surface level story that's just done professionally. And that's really all I kind of want to highlight there. And I just recommend you read it. And as I go forward with this series, I'll go even more detail as I find like very specific things of how, and I'll try to show pictures of like specific, like he did this with this, put the bubble here, and then they page turned on this, that kind of thing. But on this first one, it's just like a general rundown of a book that I'm often compared with that I've enjoyed, and I think it's just a few good simple lessons that I've learned from. All right, thanks everybody. See ya.